this podcast, we are going to discuss a creepy story based on a true story in a movie film called The Conjuring. This podcast is made by Andrew
and Dominic
and Lennox. Since Lennox isn't here for this podcast, we're just going to start without him. So let's go ahead and read the story from an article. In 1971, the Perrin family moved in a farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island, unaware of its dark history. A house has homed to a series of tragedies, including infamous acts of Bathsheba Sherman, believed to be a witch. She was accused of murdering a baby using a sewing needle, and after her death, her malevolent spirit was supposedly haunted the house. The parents explained the strange phenomena. Objects disappearing, unexplained filth, and bed shaking at 5:15 a.m. They smelled rotting flesh and heard unsettling noise. Carolyn Perrin's needle-like leg wound intensified their fears, seemingly confirming the sinister's past. Paranormal experts Ed and Lorraine Rand investigated, confirming spiritual activity but failing to entirely cleanse the house. Andre Perrin, one of the daughters, later recounted their experience, which inspired the Conjuring film. She emphasized the movie's authenticity, but noted it didn't fully convey their harrowing reality. And here's some fun facts.
Fun fact, there was actually bodies in the wall, and some of the filmers were actually thrown across the room because sometimes they were filming inside the row house. Alright, so now he'll take over. Andrew will take over.
And I'll read another article again that is from Wikipedia. According to the Warrens, a student nurse was given a doll in 1971. They said that the doll behaved strangely, and that a psychic medium that told the student that the doll was inhibited by the spirit of a deceased girl named Annabelle. The student of her roommate tried to accept and neutral the spirit-possessed doll, but the doll reportedly exhibited I can't read that. The frightening behavior. It was at this point that the Warrens said they were first contacted moving the doll to their museum after pronouncing it demonically possessed. The doll remained in a glass box at the Warrens Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, until the museum's closing. Texas State University assistant professor of religious studies Joseph Laycock say most skeptics have dismissed the Warrens Museum as full of off-the-shelf Halloween junk dolls and toys, books you could buy at any store. Laycock calls the Annabelle legend an interesting case study in relationship between pop culture and paranormal folklore, and speculates that the demonic doll trope popularized by films such as Child's Play, Dolly Dearest, and The Conjuring likely emerged from early legends surrounding Robert the doll, as well as from a Twilight Zone episode released 5 years prior to the Warrens. Story entitled Living Doll, in which the character of the mother is named Annabelle. Laycock suggests that the idea of demonically possessed dolls allows modern demonologists to find supernatural evil in the most banal and dismissive places. Commenting on publicly for the Warrens Occult Museum, coinciding with the film release of The Conjuring, science writer Sharon A. Hill that said that many of the myths and legends surrounding the Warrens have seemingly been of their own doing, and that many people may have difficulty separating the Warrens have from their Hollywood portrayal. Hill criticized sensational press coverage of the Warrens Occult Museum and its Annabelle doll. She said, like real life Ed Warren in real life, Annabelle is actually far less impressive. Of the supernatural claims made about Annabelle by Ed Warren, Hill said, "We have nothing but Ed's words for this, and also for the history and origins of the objects in the museum." The doll was also described in Gerald Bertel's 1980 biography of the Warrens, the demonologist.
Alright, so there's some fun facts. The real doll actually possessed the doll that was in the movie of Annabelle. And the doctor who they gave the thing got possessed, and she jumped out the window of that hospital and killed herself. And yeah, that's all we had.
Sorry, I can't.
And I think there was a year that the Annabelle doll, the real life doll, escaped the museum, and they found it, I think, at the abandoned hospital, if I'm not mistaken. You guys could search it up.
And so, what were you gonna say?
And that's it. So
yeah. That was it for the horror story podcast. Though, yeah. Sorry, I couldn't pronounce some of the words because, yeah, I do not learn those words. And yeah, we're gonna end off here. So, goodbye.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all.
Watching.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys later if we do another podcast. Who knows when we'll do another podcast. We're out.